Welcome back to Guru Talk. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and I'm joined by my good friend, Blake Miller, today, who has been on the show before, and we get him back. I think it's a relevant time in life that people need to start cleaning themselves up, Blake. There's a lot of heart issues we're seeing.
It's pretty bad out there.
Spontaneous heart attacks and all kinds of craziness going on out there. And I think I'm sick of seeing all the doctors with the vaccines and the medications. I'd like to really address more of a holistic, medicinal, solution. And, you're one of the first guys I went to who really got me involved with oxygenation of the blood. We've done videos on ozone therapy and how ozone could really super hyper oxygenate the blood. We're talking about water and hydration for the cells. You're the guy I like to go to. There's always someone who knows a little bit more than me, and you always seem to be on the cutting edge of all these topics. What's going on? I mean, what could be done for people who have, coronary artery disease, people who are having plaque build up in their bodies? What is first of all, what do you suspect is causing all this?
Well, as you know, there's different theories of what's actually causing plaque buildup. We first thought it was fat. We first thought it was animal fat. Well, that's bullshit. It is a calcification of some sort. Yeah. There are other theories that say it's more of a scab that the body has developed because the vessels have been scraped so much just from debris in the blood. And I witnessed that myself. I look at blood every day. There's my dark telescope right behind me with some blood on the screen there. Right. So I see the junk in people's blood, and it's a lot of just cholesterol crystals, uric crystals, all types of unidentified waste that's in the blood. But the biggest things I've seen to reverse it, number one is getting the hydration in place. And that seems, very vague because, we all drink water. We all drink a bottle of water, right? Well, what I found, the problem with the water that we're drinking is it's not structured properly. We really need to be drinking something called H3O. Instead of H2O, H3O is what they call hexagonal water. And that's formed naturally in streams and rivers. When you see river or water begins to swirl and pull that vortex. Right. So rapid vortexing will restructure this water. And that's how you see it naturally in nature. Like you see yetis on the side of rivers, natural whirlpools fooling. Right. So what's causing it though to fucking the water up are the pipes and the filters, the filtration systems, the reverse osmosis, the pipes. That's causing water to flow in an unnatural direction, if you will. It doesn't want to go through a straight pipe. It likes to swirl and spin. But when we found out what it does that, it's globbing the molecules together.
Interesting.
And even though it's pH balanced and mineralized, but if the molecules are globbed together, if it's been forced and pushed through a reverse osmosis system, for example, it won't get in the body very deeply. There's a device I discovered about 2 years ago that brought my hydration and all my people's hydration and my tribe to a whole different level. That's called the Vitalizer Plus. And it's just simply, it looks kind of like a blender, but it vortexes the water very heavily for about 27 minutes.
Yeah, we have one right outside of my studio right here because you told me to get it. So I listened to everything you tell me.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I love my Vitalizer. I have it with me I drink 3 pitchers a day on 27 minutes.
Do you really?
Once you get a taste of this water, huh?
I didn't realize I don't drink that much of it. I probably should. I don't have it in my kitchen because I'm afraid my kids are going to mess with it. I have it in my studio, so we usually drink it when we're here at work, But
the vortexing, man, and it really makes everything work better.
Yeah.
When you start to see the blood open up, like when we do blood testing, like behind me on a microscope.
Yeah, tell people what you did, because when I went to your house, you tested my blood. You took a sample of my blood, you put it under a microscope, you had it on the TV, and it was like all the red blood cells were stuck together, and then you gave me, I think, some ozonated water, right?
Yeah, I gave you some ozone water. I gave you some of this stuff. This is our flagship product. This is the ozone drops. Right. This is what we're using to open up the blood perfectly. So when we see the clumpy ass blood, the thick sludgy blood, whether it be from a vaccination or from COVID or whatever it may be, this will open that blood back up and make it highly oxygenated. Like we've seen people, get tests with an oximeter on the end of their finger, and it's like in the 85 range. It's very low. Right. 15 minutes with this, it's up around 97.
So what is that? Explain what that. Explain the product so people know what you're talking about.
Well, it's sodium chloride bound with oxygen, and that's the biggest. To go back to the hydration thing, that's the biggest thing we're missing is really enough minerals in the water, sodium being the main content, is sodium is really what pushes water into your cells.
Right.
With not enough salt in there, it's dehydration. This will never happen at a deep level. So what we've done, we bound the oxygen to sodium, so it hitches a ride on the sodium, and it goes right into your cells. And when you carry that sodium with the water and with the oxygen, that's what will restore the zeta potential or surface charge or the millivolts back to the red blood cell. And it gives them that force field, and now they will not stick together anymore.
Interesting.
So that's why water in itself won't fix it. So you've got to have, and if you don't want to mess with this, just get some really clean water and just start putting good pinches of sea salt in the water. That'll really make a big difference and a really easy way to alkaline the body as well.
What about like a Gatorade or a coconut water? You know, that has sodium in it, right?
Coconut kick ass.
Yeah.
Gatorade sucks because it's all that sugar actually will pull more water.
Well, I'm talking about like the Gatorade. I drink Gatorade Zero sometimes because I'm lazy, you know, and they don't have any sugar in them. Yeah, but
man, you're better off with just pickle juice.
Yeah, pickle juice. That's
pickle juice is great. Yeah, but back on the issue with the cardiovascular issues, the plaque, man, the biggest thing I found to get rid of it is high amounts of MSM. You know, we have a really, really good organic pine sulfur that we use, but that shit, if it's a good, clean sulfur, that will dissolve any kind of calcification. Doesn't mean if it's plaque or cardiovascular plaque, scar tissue, it could be a stone, it could be bursitis, it could be any kind of arthritic conditions as well.
I have a product called Arthrolyze. We have 4 grams of MSM in this stuff per day, and it really helped people notice a big, relief to the joints.
I have it every day. It's a game changer.
What do you think about people who recommend? I know I had a doctor on the show, Dr. Gary Mizo, and he's a big believer in nanobacteria that have invaded the blood vessel lining and irritated that and caused like this scab formation and calcification, which you pretty much went through. He has a product that has EDTA in it, which is like a chelating agent in there. It's a very low. I don't think it's a high dose.
That's great. That's also very effective for removing cardiovascular plaque.
Really? Now, what's the right dose of that a day? Is there any prescribed dosage that people use? Usually
they do the regular, because they use EDTA for heavy metal chelation.
Right.
And usually just whatever they would do for that same dosage for the metal removal would be, I think that's enough, to start breaking down the plaque.
I think about 2 grams a day is about right. Because
I believe so.
He has his product is a proprietary blend of other stuff in there too. But I think that it's about 2 grams of what I surmised was about 2 grams of the EDTA. And is there any negative ramifications to taking EDTA on a daily basis?
Just detoxification symptoms towards sort of part of it, but I hear they're pretty mild.
Okay.
It's nothing too severe to worry about.
Right.
Yeah.
What else? Now, we talk about the kidneys and the liver. A lot of guys have kidney issues. They have sclerotic, calcification of the kidneys, maybe from damage to the kidney tubules from high blood pressure or whatever else they're doing, and then their kidneys kind of get scarred over. What can be done for that? Is there any way to reverse that?
The first thing that comes to mind would be the castor oil packs. Castor oil packs is an old school remedy from Edgar Casey. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with these or not.
Well, I'll tell you I am, because you had me doing these too. These
the packs were great. Man.
I was doing them for a long time when I was single. Now I have kids. I don't have time to sit around with a pack with a heating pad on my stomach.
They're a pain in the ass to do. Yeah. They are a pain in the ass to do. If you've got a kidney issue though, they do work well. You would just lay on your belly, and if you live with your girl or whoever, have them make the pack and just lay it on your lower back. That acid will start breaking up that fucking calcification and start removing that inflammation out of the kidneys, and it gets the tubes nice and smoothed over.
How does the castor oil do that?
Like I said, it's very powerful in healing properties. It removes calcification. I'm not sure I think it's linoleic acid. I don't know what the name of the acid does, but it breaks down all that calcification. Because we also mainly use it for scarring of the liver. Right. So cirrhosis of the liver, fibrosis of the liver. And we've had wonderful success with that. Right. Because that also will break down that, because the liver, it has to be able to flex and expand. And if it has, so for example, we drink alcohol, really ethanol, well, that will burn your liver a little bit, and that scar heals over, it hardens, and over time get a bunch of that shit, and the liver can no longer flex and expand. Well, the castor oil brings that sponginess back to the liver. So it allows it to work a lot better. And we also can see that when we see the dark circles will disappear under the eyes, makes the eyes beautiful. The castor oil packs are great for that, man.
I remember, if I remember correctly, I think I still have the stuff. I had bought it in Whole Foods, believe it or not. It was like a bottle of castor oil with like a cloth, and I wet the cloth with the castor oil. I put it on my, I think you had me put it right on the belly just for, I think I was just doing it for detoxification, you had me doing it. And I put a heating pad on that and just watch TV for like a half hour or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're very relaxing. Yeah, they work quite well. Yeah, we've had several cases where we were able to clean up cirrhosis pretty much completely with it.
Interesting.
And they just do it on their own. They do it at their house. You know,
it's easy to do.
Usually do it once a day, like 7 days in a row, and then 3 times a week for 12 weeks. And that generally will clean up any kind of calcification of an organ. It's also great for rebooting organs as well, like pancreas, or if you got a gland that isn't popping right. It somehow kind of pushes it back in gear.
Wow. Now, you mentioned viruses and fungi that are in the body and that we don't even know about. Now, I think a lot of people have this. I have like one toenail that for like 10, 15 years has had like a toenail fungus on it. I don't know why. I took like itraconazole, it went away, and then it came back again. So what do you do? Does that mean I have some kind of fungal in my body systemically, or is that just like a localized thing?
No, it's systemic. When you see it on the toenail, it's in the whole body. It generally will go to the toenails because of gravity.
Right.
The best thing I've found, I mean, not sit here and push all my stuff.
No, we want to hear.
We have a biopurity. So it's a black cumin, spearmint, peppermint, and fern mixed together. And that's our go-to for all parasites and funguses. And usually one bottle of that will cause the toenails to go clear.
Really?
And that's just taking it internally, not doing it topically on the toenail. So it does clean up the waste in the body.
All right, I'm going to try
black cumin, man, is really, really good for fungal toenails.
You're going to send me a bottle. I'm going to try it, and I'm going to tell everyone.
I will.
If it works, then you'll have, I guarantee you'll sell a lot of bottles of that stuff because. And it
works great for candida in the gut, too. Like, you don't have a problem craving sugar.
Yeah.
We also have a great formula for pets. If you're a dog lover like me, we have it for your animals.
Sure.
If you want a good heartworm replacement, it's good shit.
And what's the active ingredient in that? Just all
black cumin.
Oh, the cumin is there.
Black seed, black cumin seed, spearmint, peppermint, and fern. Just those 4 essential oils. We used to use the black holes of the green holes of black walnuts, clove, and the garlic for our parasite candida cleanse, but that shit takes too long. It takes like 6 weeks to get any kind of results.
Right.
This stuff will work within a week. It works
1
very
week?
quickly. Yeah, within a week.
Wow.
You start to see results.
And
it's a good prebiotic for your gut too. It's a great product, but it tastes like shit. So make sure if you get it, gel cap it.
Yeah. Why don't you sell it as a gel cap?
It dissolves the gel cap.
Oh, okay.
It'll melt them. Yeah, so you got to distill them up and then pop them.
I could swallow anything. I'll just throw it in some coconut oil, coconut water, and gulp it down.
Try that.
Like that. All right, what else? Let's see. Let me look at your sheet of stuff we want to talk about. All right. What do you feel is the best way to improve digestion? I have people who complain about they can't digest food properly. They get a lot of bloating in their stomach. And what could be the cause of that? Is that also candida still?
Man, from what I've found, because I'm 47 now, and I've known as we get older, our hydrochloric acid production really starts to just suck. You know, your HCl is produced in the stomach. And especially us bodybuilders who trained a lot, we eat a lot of meat. Yeah, you definitely want the right amount of HCl. That's helped my digestion the most. You can get that. It's cheap. You get it. I think Soleil makes an HCl with pepsin in it. HCl is great, man, for that. I think also the digestive enzymes. A lot of guys already take those. I think cleaning the gut wall though is probably the biggest thing that's causing people to have bad digestion. The mucoid plaque starts to collect in the gut wall, and that's causing the distension. We see it mostly in female bodies when they have that belly distension below the waistline, because women generally don't store fat there. They put fat on the hips. So we see that belly distension. Generally, that's mucoid plaque causing that to protrude. And even with men too, man. I mean, it happens unless you've done a good cleanse for the small and large intestine. That mucoid plaque will still be in there. It's just basically flours and cheese and breads and all the bullshit we've had back in the day, it begins to sleeve up and basically calcify our intestinal wall, and that blocks our absorption, but it's also quite toxic, and that's also causing us to reabsorb waste. But see, your body dumps all of its waste through that channel, through the large and small intestine. So when that gets lined up, not only can you can't absorb your food very well, but the whole body begins to get backed up with waste. And I'll see that too on the scope behind me. The blood just fills up with toxins. Usually we kind of disconnect the dots. We look at the body. If it's getting impacted here, or eating food, it's not wanting to go down. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
What
do you do for that? What do you do for that?
Well, the first thing I would say about the oxyflush, man, our super oxyflush is great just to break up the waste out of the gut. But if it's not going down in the stomach, you're not producing usually enough hydrochloric acid. And that's where we see people having acid reflux, indigestion, because it's bubbling back up. Well, you didn't have enough acid in the stomach to make it go down. So we always have to take an antacid, which actually just makes it worse. You really want more acid in the stomach to dissolve that, make it go down. So the HCl generally will solve that, Dave. Usually, man, like 1 or 2 capsules. You know, pop, especially if you have a lot of meat in a meal, you know, eating up over 10 ounces or more.
Interesting. Okay, so you're saying a lot of this is due to improper digestion, is what you're saying?
Yeah, bad. It could mostly it's HCl production in the stomach, and it could be some pancreas issues as well. You know,
but you do hear a lot of people. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are on, you know, antacids or acid blockers, and I always just intuitively felt like the acid blockers were just not good. You know, popping a Tums once in a while is not a bad thing, but I think like taking something that inhibits acid production in the stomach, it just seems like it would prevent your body from digesting protein, especially if you eat a high protein meal.
Yeah, it even worse. It makes you feel better, but it does worsen the digestion. Like you won't absorb anything from that meal, you know. Because,
you know, I had my foot operated on. They're making me take a full aspirin every day because they're afraid of, like, you know, they don't want anyone to get it, you know, I guess it's DVT.
Yeah.
So I feel like my stomach is like taking a beating from this aspirin. And I was asking a doctor friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, just take an acid blocker." I said, "Then I can't digest my food properly." I said, "That's not the solution."
Right.
You know, I don't want to do
that.
Yeah,
man. If you're having some possibly some ulcers, or if you're having you got some stomach lining issues, or you messed up the mucosal lining, aloe vera is kick ass for that. Man.
Is it?
It gives you some. Like a gallon of the aloe vera gel, I think Lily of the Desert makes a good one. And just get a big swig of that aloe vera gel every morning before you touch food. And that's a great way to just coat the GI tract. It'll heal up your stomach.
Wow.
Great for the intestines as well.
Good.
All of our Crohn's people do that. Crohn's and colitis people.
Yeah, that's great. What about, now you wrote this, one of your topics you wanted to discuss, and I don't even know what this means, removing cysts from the granular system. Explain that.
Oh, from the gland. Yeah. So we.
You meant glandular. Okay, you said glandular.
Yeah. I might have missed. That might have been a typo. Yeah. So we start getting cysts in the ovaries, cysts in the breast, cysts in the thyroid, cysts in the or a swollen prostate. You know, that's leading up to the estrogen-based cancers, but that's really an iodine deficiency, which you never hear about. You know, the prostate, the thyroid, the breast, the ovaries, and the colon store the highest levels of iodine. And when those get deficient, they're either going to get a cyst on it, they're going to swell up, maybe both. So we see the waters in the throat, we see cysts in the breast, we see cysts in the ovaries or the cervix.
Right.
You know, all those are iodine deficiencies, and it also, you know, that's playing a strong role in our hormone production. Because, you know, iodine, the right type of iodine, if you've got a really good iodine, your thyroid will naturally create TH and T3 on its own. You know, so basically, that would be the glandular system is where that's what's causing it. It's all basically iodine deficiencies.
Why would someone get like a little cyst in like a salivary gland? Is that the same reason? I mean, what would, you know, like
I don't know about the salivary gland. That could be a few things. I wouldn't think it would be an iodine deficiency though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. What if? All right. Everyone's heard the spiel we've just went through. I mean, there's some great information here we've put out. What are the give me the 5 most important things that people should really focus on as far as their health? Like if someone's watching the show and feels overwhelmed now, like I got everything wrong with me. What should they really focus? The 5 most important things.
First thing is getting their hydration, their water in place. Okay.
With
Get
structured
the best
water.
kind of water.
Yeah, with structured water.
Well, if you don't have access to the Vitalizer, I get it. Not everybody has that. The best thing you can do, either get your own reverse osmosis system and clean it yourself and just put salt in it. Like a really, really, not salt. Let me back up. A really good Icelandic flake salt. So when you put the word flake, Flake, it pulls up the Icelandic flake family. I don't know why.
What is that? What is that? How is that different from
Icelandic
salt?
flake salt is probably one of the best salts you can get out there. It's super high in potassium, super high in magnesium. It's super clean. It's not going to have any of the plastics and heavy metals or this other bullshit a lot of the other salts have. But when we start looking at sodium, and that's a really important mineral for hydration, when you take sodium by itself, it can cause the other minerals to go out of whack. But you want it in the right balance, and it's the easiest way to do that is just get it through sea salt. It's going to have the right ratios of magnesium, sodium, and everything else, so it doesn't just go skyrocket your sodium. But that's the biggest thing is getting the hydration in place for people, man, is make sure they're putting enough good sea salt in the water so they're getting the minerals.
How much sea salt should you put in 8 ounces of water?
If you have a quart, I would put maybe a small teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon to a quart.
Okay. And that's not going to dehydrate you, because they say sometimes drinking
no,
too much
believe it or
salt.
not. See, it's just the opposite. When you don't have the minerals, that will dehydrate you.
Okay.
I have clients all the time that they have reverse osmosis system at home for their water. That's great, but RO strips all the minerals out of the water as well. So when you drink that shit, it's clean, but it's going to leach your minerals from you.
Yeah,
unless you've got that salt component in the water, it will not get into the cells. As you know, sodium pushes water into cells, and the potassium holds on the outside. So you've got to have those minerals in place, or you just piss it out. So we see this a lot of times where, oh, Blake, I'm drinking water all day long. I got water bottles by the bed, and I'm pissing all night.
Uh-oh, we lost Blake. I think he got a phone call came in on his phone probably. This is great information, guys. Let me just tell you, hydration is a huge topic. And a lot of people do think that, I know people that drink distilled water thinking they're going to hydrate themselves better. That's the worst thing, because that has nothing in it. That has no minerals. I'm sure Blake will completely agree with me in that sense. So mineralized water is better. I have a RO system on my house, actually, but I have a calcium reactor that adds calcium back to the water, so it has minerals in it. And that gives it a more alkaline pH. But I might start adding a little pinch of salt in my water too, because it definitely makes sense for proper hydration levels. No doubt about it. I've also bought this Vitalizer product. I know Tyler Sword out there was asking me questions about it when we got it, a couple months back. And it spins the water for 27 minutes, which is what he's talking about. And it makes like a little vortex. It looks like a little whirlpool. And then it just stops after 27 minutes. And then I have a pitcher full of water, and you can just drink it. And so I wish I was more diligent about it. I drink a couple glasses when I'm over here usually, but then I always forget to put it in there because it makes a lot of noise and we're recording. And so, but if you use this thing, I think it really, I feel, he's right. I feel definitely more hydrated when I'm using the Vitalizer. And I don't know if that's just psychological or if what he's saying is true by structuring the water molecules in the right, configuration where they're not just clumped together, but they're universally spread out. You're going to have better absorption into the cells, and then the cells are going to become hydrated better. But I've always said sodium. I know people that don't eat any sodium in the diet ever, and they wonder why they walk around cramping, and why every time they do eat like a piece of pizza or something that has a lot of salt, they completely retain a lot of fluid because they're so sodium sensitive that their body just globs it all up when they do eat it, and that's not what you want to do. You never want to have your body feel deprived of anything, whether it be fats, protein, electrolytes, because if you do that, invariably what's going to happen is your body's going to do something in the opposite direction to try to compensate for that, which is usually retain fat if you don't eat enough essential fats. Okay. Retain sodium if you don't eat sodium in your diet. And then people say, oh, I'm so water sensitive, I'm so sodium sensitive. Of course you are, because you don't eat any sodium. Your body thinks it's never going to get another ounce of salt, and that's where the problem comes in. So hydration is absolutely huge. I think we got Blake back here, but Blake's got to.
Am I back on? Okay,
yeah,
sorry about that.
You got to turn your phone around. You're not in the right orientation. Oh, there you go.
All right. Perfect. So sorry about that, man. Yeah. So
number one, hydration. What's number two?
Digestion.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely digestion. Nobody's digesting properly anymore, and their colons are backed up. Like we said before, the HCl production is just really, really low, and as we get older, that also will diminish as well. So the HCl production, I think, is crucial.
And the colon gets weaker as we get older. That's why I'm a big advocate of fiber, and I make that fiberlyzed product because of the fact that the colon needs to be worked out, right?
Yeah, so psyllium husk fiber, psyllium husk capsules are kick-ass to take. See, for me, my digestion, a lot of times it just runs through me too fast. So I'll take psyllium husk fiber with my meals. It slows down the digestion to where I'll basically get more out of the meal. It also gives you a lot of fiber to where it's just going to give you a lot of bulk. It also helps clean off a lot of the villi along the intestines as well.
Absolutely.
As that psyllium husk, you know. And you can even do a kick-ass colon cleanse with a lot of psyllium husk. You do basically about a tablespoon of psyllium husk in 12 ounces of water with a little bit of bentonite. Drink that every night for about a week. And then you go to 2 of those back to back, 12 ounces of water, tablespoon of bentonite. It's a lot of psyllium, man, but that will totally brush out all the waste out of your intestines. You'll see black and green come out of you. It's definitely.
I'm going to send you a couple tubs of my fiberlyzed product. You're going to be sold because you know what? I did a lot of research when I formulated fiberlyzed, and I found that all psyllium is not created equal. If you if you don't use a high swell rate psyllium, it doesn't bind as much junk and pull it out of the body. Right. We use the highest rate swell rate psyllium in fiberlyzed. I'm going to send you a tub. You're going to be like, Dave, this is the greatest product I ever used.
Yeah. So everybody needs to be on that stuff, man. And I will say, as you get older, the digestion really makes a big difference with the psyllium. I'm a big fan of psyllium.
Number 3.
Well, exercise, man. If they're not, I mean, are we talking like regular people here, or are we talking about like?
I'm talking about everyone. I wanted the 5 most important things for your health.
Nobody's moving their bodies, man. I will say, like people, you know, they're looking for longevity. They're looking for the magical supplement, the magical water, the magical. But they're not. They're just sitting on their fucking ass. I got people that is, you know, ask me, well, is walking okay? Walking. If you're like a 90-year-old senior citizen, I mean, that's like.
You're talking about resistance training where you're challenging the muscles.
I mean, so resistance training is great because you want the resistance on the bone and muscle, so it helps it grow and doesn't get weak. But you also need something to get that heart rate up. You want something to get yourself out of breath where that heart's just moving and you're breathing like crazy. That's also one of the best things you can do to detoxify the body as well. You know, I work with cancer clients all over the country. They buy my equipment, they do our program with but if they're not exercising, man, it doesn't really work very well. I mean, it doesn't really work very well. So this is, I don't know if this comes in reverse. Is this coming out okay?
We can see it. Yeah, we can see it.
So this is from Hippocrates, man. This is the core of all my programs. It's called the Temple of Good Health. Okay, you see on the bottom, the very first foundation step is exercise.
Right.
Okay. And then it goes sunshine, attitude, clean air, and clean water. And there's 2 pillars that support it: cleansing and nutrition. You've got to do both pillars. You can't just do nutrition. You've got to do the whole thing. Right. But this is the 7 secret steps to health. You got to do all 7 of these.
Yep.
You know, and the sunlight is super important too, man. I mean, the sunlight has consciousness. Sunlight, it gives you downloads and it gets the hormones right. You know, I mean, it's a crucial element.
I'll tell you something, Blake. When I moved from New York to Florida 6 years ago, ever since I've been here, my mental attitude, my just feeling of well-being is so good because I'm in the sun every day and it's never cold here. I'm not in a bad mood ever. Even when I have the terrible news happens, you know, I'm still in a good mood. The weather.
Well, the sun is how we create our dopamine.
Yes, I feel euphoric.
And I worked with one neurophysicist named Jack Krause. He told me, he goes, Blake, if you're smoking weed all day, if you're wanting to crave food all day, if you're craving sex all day, you're not making enough dopamine and you're not in the sun enough, you know, and the sun, man, I mean, when you're out in the sun, it's just therapy. I forgot you moved to Florida. Yeah. That's like totally opposite of the spectrum from New York to Florida. That's right. That's like totally different vibrations.
Oh yeah. We have good vibrations now here. That's for sure.
I bet.
Yeah. I love it here. All right. And so, you know, like I said, it's a holistic approach. Like you said, it's not just one thing. It's not just what you eat. It's how you get rid of waste. It's, you know, it's everything. And so. Yeah,
it's everything.
How can people get some of your products? Do you have a website?
Man, ozonepurity.com is my website. Okay. If you guys want to see a lot of my videos, I'm the Ozone Guru. on TikTok and the Ozone Guru on Instagram.
Awesome. Very good.
And we've got a channel also on YouTube. Or YouTube is Ozone Purity is our YouTube channel.
Okay, great. We're going to check it out, and I'm going to recommend that all my viewers out there check it out too. Blake's a very smart guy. He's got a lot of great solutions that are non-medicinal and are more natural, and I really like your approach. You're also really good with people who have cancer and oxygenating their body and ozone. That's another thing. Is there a way people can reach out to you if they want to talk to you, if they have specific medical problems they want to work with you on?
Yeah, so they can hire me. Actually, I'm for hire for doing one-on-one consults.
Right.
You just email us. You know, you can
through the website.
Just go to our site. You can email us, and I'll get it.
Okay.
And we can reach out that way. You know, and we've got people that go a little bit step further and look at the ozone equipment, which is really what we push. We want to have an ozone generator in every home in America.
I have.
You know, if they had that,
I have.
I know you do. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I used it when I got my thyroid cancer 2 years, was it a year and a half ago? I was using the ozone almost every day, you know, and then once it got removed, then I got slacked off a little bit. But I did do it, you know, pretty consistently for about 2 months, and you know.
Yeah, well, it's a game changer. You know, people don't realize that we're so toxic. The world's so toxic. We've got to have something that can keep us clean and pure. If we don't, man, we're just going to age and just cash out faster than we should.
Yep.
And this allows people to get out of fear. You know, it allows them to treat themselves and not run into some doctor.
Blake, thank you for joining us today and for enlightening us once again.
Thank you, David.
All right, guys, that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Guru Talk. I'm Dave Palumbo with Blake Miller. We'll see you next time.